Good evening. We'll call our Monday, January 22nd, 2018, 7 p.m. Board of Education meeting for the East China School District. We will start with a moment of silence and Pledge of Allegiance, please. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, everybody. Our January meeting, every year, the board reaffirms our oath of office. So if Mrs. Tina Thrift can come forward at this time and help us with that.
I'll have everybody stand behind your chairs, raise their right hand, and repeat after me. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Michigan,
and the Constitution of the State of Michigan,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and I will faithfully discharge
the duties of this office
the duties of this office
as a member of the Board of Education
as a member of the Board of Education
of East China School District,
of East China School District,
St. Clair County, Michigan,
St. Clair County, Michigan,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
This being the January meeting, we will start with the election of offices. At this time, I would like to make a motion to nominate Mr. Jim Bewer as president. Are there any other nominations? Any discussion? Hearing none, everybody please signify in agreement by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, motion carries. Congratulations, Mr. Bewer.
Thank you. Next position to be filled is our vice president, and I would like to nominate Jeannie Frank.
Support.
Any other nominations? Comments, questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. So carried. Next position is our treasurer.
I'd like to nominate Pat Bebuck.
Support.
Any other nominations? Comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. So carried. Final position is our secretary.
I would like to nominate Amy Murphy.
Support? Any other nominations? Comments, questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. So carried. We have our slate of officers for 2018. Thank you very much. Next item on our agenda is items of interest, recognition, and inquiry. Board members? Anybody have anything to share?
I just have a couple things. I would like to congratulate Stephanie Abrams. She's a senior at Marine City High School on Times Herald Athlete of the Week. And I also want to give a big shout out to Kirk, our Director of Operations, during this cold, cold weather and all the pipes that have been breaking and either outside buildings, inside buildings, and him and his staff. I think I can speak for the board that we really appreciate that, as we appreciate all of our employees. So thank you.
All right. Next item on our agenda is special recognition, the Fall Athletic Awards. Mr. David Maru, Mr. Sandy Rutledge.
President Bewer, members of the board, Mr. Maru and I appreciate the opportunity to recognize our fall athletes tonight. Unfortunately, we both kind of missed a slide that we should have had. We had a joint venture this year, a pink out between our volleyball teams, and raised over $1,000 for cancer research, and it was a great event that the two teams participated in, and very, very competitive volleyball games as well. And unfortunately, neither one of us put it in our slides tonight, so I want to make sure that we do mention that. So now, we'll start with the St. Clair teams and the coaches and players. And as you are recognized, if you would come up to the front, please. Starting with our varsity boys cross country team. They were the MAC White Dual Division champs. They were all MAC champions. They were regional champions. They were state finalists, finishing 4th place in the state meet. They were coached, as always, by Coach John Davidson. He was the MAC Coach of the Year. He was the Regional Coach of the Year, and he was the State Coach of the Year, or a nominee for the State Coach of the Year. Coach Davidson, if you would come up, please. And unfortunately, we're saying goodbye to Coach Davidson. He's been our cross-country coach since 1998, and he is retiring. I don't know that you realize if you aren't at school by 6 a.m., you don't know that the cross-country team's there running every morning and still running every night after school, and all the time that Coach Davidson has put in over the years. We have 5 of these guys going to run in college, as we've had many over the years from John's coaching and his influence. And so we are, our program and our kids will greatly miss Coach Davidson. So we want to recognize him tonight as well. Our varsity girls cross country team, coached by Jessica McDonald, was the Algonac Muskrat Classic champion. Our varsity girls golf team, coached by Ken Moreski, MAC Gold Division dual match and tournament champions. They were the MAC Gold Division Sportsmanship Award winners, and Coach Moreski was the MAC Gold Division Coach of the Year. We also, as our girls' golf programs are growing, we have a joint team. Coach Moreski also coaches the Marine City girls. They come up and practice with us every day and work together. And so we're in the process of growing both of those programs in numbers.
Awesome.
Our varsity girls swim and dive team, all area first. They were all division 14th, and they were all state in 3 events. And they were coached by Mac Roberts and Karen Wester. Our varsity boys tennis team were regional champions. They were state finalists, finishing 9th place in the state tournament. They were state qualifiers for the 20th straight year. And Coach Dave Klutz was the regional coach of the year. And since we put this together, he was also the state coach of the year.
Oh, wow.
Varsity girls volleyball, coached by Michelle Acketts, were the MAC Gold Sportsmanship Award winners. Now to our individuals. Again, if you would come up to be recognized. Matt Bishop, varsity boys cross country, all conference, all region, state qualifier, and all academic. Donis Harris, varsity boys cross country, all conference, all region, state qualifier, all academic. Raymond Hill, varsity boys cross country, all conference. Derek Leduc, varsity boys cross country, all conference, all region, state qualifier. Daniel Lamontagne, varsity boys cross country, all conference, all region, state qualifier, all academic. Tig McQueen, varsity boys cross country, he was all conference, all region, state qualifier, and all academic. Brendan Parr, varsity boys cross country. Brendan was all MAC champion. He was the MAC White MVP. He was all conference, all region. He was a regional individual champion in the race. He was a state qualifier. He finished 10th place in the state meet, which makes him all state, and he's also an all academic.
Wow.
Jack Pennywell, varsity boys cross country, all conference, all region, state qualifier, and all academic. Maureen Brunner, varsity girls cross country, all conference, 9th place, all region, 6th place, and all academic. Annalise Lamontagne, varsity girls cross country, she was all conference, 5th place, all region, 7th place, and all academic. Olivia Palazzolo, varsity girls cross country, all conference, 15th place, all region, 12th place, and all academic. Ben Davidson, varsity boys football, all conference, all academic. Ethan Mon, varsity boys football, all conference. Maya Cataldo, varsity girls golf, all conference. Kara Likens, varsity girls golf, all conference MVP, all region 4th place. Kara finished 6th place in the state tournament, making her all state, all academic as well. Megan Shudlich, varsity girls golf, all conference, all academic. Ryan Johnson, varsity boys soccer, all conference, all academic. Bradshaw Roberts, varsity boys soccer, all conference, all academic. Samantha Dodson, varsity girls swim and dive, all conference, all area, and all state. Hannah Grippy, varsity girls swim and dive, all conference, all area, a state qualifier, and all academic. Lakin Coleman, varsity girls swim and dive, all conference, all area, state qualifier, and all academic. Elizabeth Lanin, varsity girls swim and dive, all conference, all area, all state in 2 events, and all academic. Emma Lamb, varsity girls swim and dive, all conference, all area, and all academic. Megan Lambert, varsity girls swim and dive, all conference, all area, state qualifier, and all academic. Elena Laster, varsity girls swim and dive, all conference, all area, state qualifier, and all academic. Madison Lever, varsity girls swim and dive, all conference, all region, all state, and all academic. Molly Likens, varsity girls swim and dive, all-state in 2 events, all-American qualifier, and all-academic. If I could add that Molly last summer swam in the Deaf Olympics in Turkey representing the United States. Troy Distelrath, varsity boys tennis, all conference, all area, and all academic. Ethan Knott, varsity boys tennis, all area, all academic. Chad Maben, varsity boys tennis, all area, all academic. John Mason, varsity boys tennis, all conference, all area, all academic. Eli Pino, varsity boys tennis, all conference, all area, all state, and all academic. And now, if I could introduce Mr. Maroon. First, we'll take a little picture here, if we can.
A whole lot of all academics, so let's see if you guys are smart enough to get the good. 2 lines, somebody in the front, somebody in the back. That's all going to help. Certificates have to be up. Let's see them. That upside down.
Thank you for attending. Congratulations. Now if I could introduce Mr. Maru, Assistant Principal Athletic Director at Marine City High School.
Thank you. Good evening. It is my privilege to introduce our fellow athletes to their awards this evening. Again, we're going to start with our varsity football team. They were the 2017 MAC Gold League champions, the Brown Jug winner, the Bell Trophy winner, and playoff qualifier.
Coach, can you hold on one second?
Yeah.
St. Clair students who are leaving, could you maybe wait? Marine City sat through your awards. I think it's only reasonable and fair. Okay, if you have something else going on, I understand. But if not, it would be wonderful if you could stay and watch Marine City students receive their awards. Thank you.
Again, we can start off with our varsity football team being honored with the 2017 MAC Gold League champions, the Brown Jug winner, the Bell Trophy winner, and also playoff qualifier. For our individual awards, first we have Connor Uplegger for varsity boys cross country, all league, all region, and all academic. For varsity girls cross country, we have Samantha Beath, all conference, all region, state qualifier, and all academic. We have Alyssa Polliff, all conference, all region, state qualifier, and all academic. For varsity football, we have Logan Brindley, all league, and all academic. For varsity football, we have Dawson Haney, all league, all state, MAC Gold MVP, MCHS record career rushing, and all academic. Next, we have Justin Headley, All-League, All-State, MCHS record assists in tackles, and All-Academic. Next, we have Logan Johnson, All-League, and All-Academic. Next, we have Alex Kelly, All-League, All-Academic. Next, we have William Petzalis, All-League, All-Academic. Next, we have Justin Wiseman, All-League, All-State Honorable Mention, and All-Academic. Next, to honor varsity boys soccer, we have Hunter Daniels, All-League, All-Academic. Next, we have Brendan Jackins, All-League, All-Academic. Next, we have Trenton Zor, All-League, All-Academic. Moving on to honor our varsity girls swim and dive, we have Rosa Ostrowski, All-Region, All-State 4th place, and All-Academic. We have Addie Spencer, All-Region, State Qualifier, All-Academic. Moving on to boys tennis, we have Aubrey Comment, All-Area, All-League, League MVP, Divisional Tournament, Flight Champion. Next, we have Bradley Monarch, All-League, All-Area First Team, and All-Academic. Next, we have Dylan Parker, All-League, All-Academic. Next, we have Joey Spencer, All-League. Moving on to our final sport, we have varsity volleyball. This honor goes to Stephanie Abraham for All-League and All-Academic. A nice round of applause for all of our athletes, please.
Upside down, check, pictures upside down. Maybe 1, 2, 3.
Put our things in now.
Oh, we're officially in.
Thank you all for coming tonight. It was wonderful to see all these young people here.
It's too loud to say something now.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, you can mention it after they leave.
I think so.
Is that the new principal at Bell River?
That's who that
Ask
is.
Amy.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I can't think of what her name is. Simon and a last name, I believe. Debbie. I don't remember.
Oh, we finally got somebody to do the outside. ridiculous. I know they went from 5 contractors. They wouldn't come when they said they were going to bid the job. They bid it, and it was a big job. They just wanted to do it, but
That thinned the crowd out a little bit.
I'd say something now.
I think you should. The administrator.
Sorry, Paul.
Good evening, President Buer, Vice President Frank, and all the board members. Governor Schneider has declared January 2018 as School Member Appreciation Month. We are fortunate in East China to have such a dedicated group of individuals to serve as board members in our district. Board members serve without compensation, and that is true dedication. On behalf of the staff, parents, students, and community, thank you to each board member for his or her service to our community. In recognition of the significant efforts and dedication of the board, a book has been donated to each school's media center in the board member's name. We'd like to recognize each of you, starting with Mr. Buer, who has been a member since 1996, serving 22 years. Mrs. Frank, serving since 2013 for 5 years. Mrs. Murphy, since 2013, 5 years.
Thank you.
Mr. Disserath, since 2015, 3 years. Mrs. Bebuck, since 2015, 3 years.
Thanks, Bill.
And our rookies, Mr. Mullane, since 2017 with 1 year. And Mrs. Griefor since 2017 with 1 year.
Are we really not getting paid for this?
Thank you for all your time and support and dedication.
No, thank
Thank
you
you.
guys.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Don't you
Down front?
really?
I heard a lot of all academics, so let's see.
Yeah.
You want us to hold our books?
Do you want us to come down there?
We don't mind. I was good, I was thinking no. but
Should we
have
bring our
chairs.
books with us?
Make sure they're not upside down. Oh, that's a good picture. 1, 2, 3. That's it. Thank you.
Next item on our agenda is the Academic Spotlight, St. Clair High School. The benefits of financial literacy, Mr. Ronald Miller, Principal.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much for your service to the district. I'm glad we were able to recognize you tonight. You don't have to listen to me this year. Mrs. Amanda Volz and Lillian Witzke are going to give a very nice presentation. But before they do, I wanted to draw attention to just a couple things. One, we've got a play coming up. The Beauty and the Beast is going to be our winter musical, February 6th, 7th, and 8th at the Performing Arts Center. Look forward to seeing the community members there. Should be an excellent show. And also like to draw attention to one of our characters hiding over here in the technology closet. Paul Dingeman is being recognized as a community leader by St. John's River District Hospital. There's an event this coming weekend, January 27th. And certainly a man that's been a great contributor to the East China School District and the greater area. So I just wanted to draw some attention to Paul. Well deserved. So without further ado, this is Amanda Volz.
Good evening. I'm really happy to be here to present on a topic that I'm passionate about, which is financial education. I'm going to start with what I believe is a scary statistic. Currently in the United States, only 1 in 6 students are graduating high school with a required personal finance course. And personally, I just don't think that is enough. I think that personal finance is a topic that every student should discuss and learn about. It's a topic that has a lasting positive impact on student lives. Whether a student is a college-bound student or a student is going directly from school to work, they're all going to be making financial decisions. And learning some of these basic financial management skills ensures that they have future financial success. So I teach a course called Financial Management at St. Clare High School. It is not a required course. Students typically in 12th grade take my course as either an elective, that's what the majority are taking it for, as an elective, or they can take it as their 4th year math credit. I do find myself, or I think that it's great that I have so many students that are taking the course and that I can offer a year-long course that is all-inclusive of personal finance courses or personal finance topics. So some of the units that I teach throughout my course is investing. We look at different types of securities like stocks, bonds, and mutual funds. Students learn how the stock market works. They look at how to open brokerage accounts and 401k and Roth IRAs. We look at taxes, things like payroll taxes, and we'll also talk about filing income taxes with their W-2s in the next few weeks. We talk about insurance, auto insurance, life insurance, the importance of any risk management tool in your financial plan. We look at budgeting, basic money management techniques, the importance of having a budget. Money is digital now, so we look at apps that you can use to manage your money. Banking, simply what to look for in opening a bank account. I think the biggest misconception with personal finance is that it's just teaching kids to save and balance a checkbook, and that's not nearly what is important. So we do look at banking as far as digital, again, apps that are used, online banking tools, fee structures of different banks, credit cards, what goes into your FICO score calculation, how do you maintain and get a good credit score, again, evaluating different fee structures of credit cards. We look at renting a home versus buying a home, mortgages, amortization schedules, calculating the monthly payment on different mortgage types, installment loans like personal loans and buying a car, because that's one of their first big purchases usually. Student loans, as a nation with over $1 trillion in student loan debt and teaching high school seniors, student loans is a very popular topic. How student loan interest accrues over time, different repayment plans that are available to students, and again, how that monthly payment is calculated looking ahead. And also consumer protection, things like identity theft, phishing scams, and how to protect your money. I very much believe in hands-on learning. I think that the more I can get students to experience some of these skills and do some of these skills, they're more likely to do it successfully in their adult life and more likely to remember it. So I use a lot of case study analysis, a lot of interactives, and a lot of simulations within my classroom. One of the simulations that I use is the H&R Block Budget Challenge, which you may have heard of because St. Clare High School has been very successful in this simulation. What the simulation is it puts students in the role of being a college graduate about a year out of college and getting their first job. They make decisions in this simulated environment about a credit card, about a 401k with an employer match. They're doing some bill pay and managing a budget. One of the incentives with the budget challenge is there's scholarship money tied to it. So they are in a competitive environment. It's a national competition. They accumulate a score, they're on a leaderboard, and they have a chance to win scholarship money based on their score. So it's very much game-based learning, and it's taking all of the things that we're talking and topics we're talking about in class and giving them an opportunity to practice it. Practice it without the mistakes of real-world money. Over the past 4 years, because Budget Challenge has been available for about 4 years, St. Clair High School students have won over $280,000 in scholarship money. In the first year of implementation, we had the grand prize winner, Sean Lawrence. That was in 2015. He actually walked away with a $120,000 scholarship. We've had 9 $20,000 winners, and in 2016, my class won a $5,000 grant. So there's a few images. It was a very exciting day when Sean Lawrence received that $120,000 check. We had the CEO of H&R Block, Bill Cobb, flew out to St. Clair High School at an assembly and awarded him the money. Honestly, even more rewarding was seeing his parents' reaction because they had no idea that he was getting that check. So that was a rewarding experience. The next year, success somewhat bred success, and I had 6 students each win $20,000. In order for them to qualify for the $20,000, they had to place in the top 22 students overall. So between the last 4 years, there were about 70 to 90,000 national participants. So those students placed in the top 22. They changed the rules a bit into year 3, and it was no longer the top 22 received scholarship money, it was the top 5. So last year, Billy Balfour was one of the top 5 students, and he was awarded a $20,000 scholarship. This year, unfortunately, we do not have a $20,000 winner this year. The top 5, again, win $20,000. Lillian Wutzke, who's with me today, she placed number 10 out of 80,000 students, over 80,000 students. North Star Bank, they have been a great partner in supporting my curriculum. They offer every year a $1,000 financial literacy scholarship. So Lillian, based on her place in the Budget Challenge, won the $1,000 scholarship. Also, H&R Block Local, St. Clair, and Marine City donate a Chromebook to both myself and to Marine City High School, Lori Gardner, for the second place student. So what are students learning from Budget Challenge or even this hands-on learning? Lillian has come and she's going to share with you what she did in Budget Challenge and also what she learned from it.
So I want to start out with saying that I went into the simulation knowing literally nothing about money except that I wanted a lot of it. A couple things that I learned from it are that a lot of purchases that you make, including debt and just everyday expenses, they quickly add up, and you're in a lot of debt, and it sucks. And also the difference between credit and debit cards, because I really did not know that going into it. And I also learned that $100 is no longer a large amount of money. And also that fine prints matter when you're signing up for anything like debt or credit cards or something. And also that you should always be prepared for emergencies, because in the simulation, unexpected events happen, such as getting robbed and your roommates not being able to pay rent. So it just showed me that you always need to have some money in your back pocket. That's all. That's fine.
So Lillian did a great job. I think I had maybe about 10 students that finished in the top 100 this year of the simulation. So aside from Budget Challenge, again, I think that the tactile hands-on learning is most important when teaching this subject matter. So students also participate in, they'll do that this semester, in something called the stock market game. The prizes for the stock market game are not nearly as lucrative as Budget Challenge. However, students are given a starting principal, and they invest their money into a diversified portfolio of stocks, bonds, and mutual funds. They do compete against each other, so it's again somewhat competitive and game-based, which drives students a little bit. And what they're trying to do is see how much equity they can build in their account over a period of time, and how their portfolio compares to something like an index like the S&P 500. Tied to the stock market game is InvestRight. InvestRight is a national writing competition that my students participate in. They're given a writing prompt about investing or securities market. They draft and create a writing piece, which is then sent on to judges. The judges are business professionals who evaluate the writing, and they can win, again, additional things like Chromebooks, a trip to New York. We've never had a national winner, but 2 years ago, a St. Clair High School student was the Michigan winner for the InvestRight competition. And finally, last year, St. Clair High School was recognized as one of the 100 best schools for teaching personal finance. My students take a test at the end of the school year, which certifies them financially literate. So WISE is the organization that does the testing. If students pass, which 99% of students pass the test, they're given a certificate and they're certified financially literate. They use that data to then put us in the top 100 schools of teaching personal finance. So the evidence is overwhelming. Financial education works. I am obviously a huge advocate of it. I think it's an important topic for students to learn about. More and more research is being done on financial education, and that students that are graduating from states with personal finance graduation requirements, which honestly right now is only 5 states. 5 states require students to graduate with an all-inclusive personal finance class. We're seeing that their investment or their spending and their money behaviors are changing. They're more likely to be saving and saving for emergency funds. They're more likely to start investing early. I just had a student a couple weeks ago that sent me an email who got her first job, her first paycheck taxable income, and couldn't wait to open up a Roth IRA. So that was my, yes, they got it moment. They're less likely to be maxing out credit cards and taking out enormous amounts of debt. So I am obviously passionate about this topic. I think it's valuable, and I really believe that every student that graduates from East China School District should have a financial education. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I answer any questions? No.
I am in total agreement with what Amanda presented here tonight. My last couple years of teaching, and we were just getting this, you and Rita Freck actually wrote the curriculum, so it was fairly new, about 6 years ago when I retired. I really would like our district to look into making this a graduation requirement. And I understand when you start doing that, then there's less electives for kids. But unless it's changed in the last 6 years, there is nowhere where high school students learn this.
It's embedded slightly into our economics curriculum. So we are a state, one of 17, in which there are some personal finance standards that are taught but embedded in another course. So they do get a glimpse into it, which is better. But I feel that any kind of student, a lot of people, again, think it's common sense information, or I'm talking to my child at home about this, which parents are the biggest influencer of all of this money conversations. But I can't tell you how many parents I talked with at parent-teacher conferences. I wish I would have taken a class like this.
Well, it's a lifelong skill that everybody, all of us need. And I am a big proponent, so I'm in agreement that we need to look at that as a requirement.
Can we do that at the district level, something we can implement? I don't know.
I say definitely, and I can bring lots of research that would support that.
Well, you still have.
I'm not sure that a year-long course is the right avenue. Most likely a semester course, and even semester-long courses that are rigorous in nature and follow certain standards and benchmarks are showing results in the end.
We still have the curriculum, the district curriculum council, correct? And you have to go, okay. All right, well, we'll talk later.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item on our agenda is the consent agenda. Motion is needed for approval of minutes. Regular board meeting, education meeting, December 18th, 2017. Approval of payment of bills, financial statement, schedule investments.
So moved.
Moved by Mrs. Frank,
Support.
support by Mr. Distelrath. Comments, questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Same, all opposed, same sign. We have 2 green cards. We have Nancy Mott, ECEA Happenings.
Good evening, Mr. Beaver. 22 years. Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
And the rest of the school board also. My name is Nancy Mott, St. Clair Middle School math teacher, proud member of the ECEA, here to talk to you about happenings in our district. Firstly, I'd like to say Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Secondly, Happy School Board Appreciation Month. The ECEA would like to thank you for your support, especially of the teachers in the East China School District. Now for the good stuff of what's happening. Lori Gardner, Lori Gardner is the Marine City High School business education teacher, and in March she will be presenting at the National Business Education Association Conference in Baltimore. She will be sharing resources and tools that she uses in her financial management classes with other personal finance teachers. Mark Eberhard, science teacher at St. Clair High School, was awarded the Michigan Lottery Excellence in Education Award. He received a $1,500 cash prize and $500 classroom grant, and he is in consideration for the Michigan Lottery Educator of the Year. The Science Olympiad team at Marine City High School, underneath the direction of Paul Dimmer, placed first at the Perry Science Olympiad Invitational. The Beatrice Thornton Student Art Exhibition is showing Pine River, Gearing, and Eddy Elementary art projects from January 27th to February 17th. So check out the SC4 Fine Arts Gallery for East China School District's student artwork. From Jan Cornish, a physical education teacher at Gearing and Palms, she says that both Gearing and Palms are starting their walk/fitness clubs this week. Their students will be improving their fitness level and earning tokens along the way. They have an awesome group of parent volunteers supervising their students. Just in case you didn't hear this information in the fall, Kelly Woodhouse, a first grade teacher at Palms, was nominated and selected as Teacher of the Month through RISA. Kelly Robbins is in charge of 3rd through 5th grade students in the Social Studies Olympiads at Bell River. Right now they have 12 participants. They are competing in off-site events this year for their very first year. Events include artistic posters, collage posters, storyboards, quilt-a-thons, historical newscasts, poetry, and primary document journaling. The theme this year is the Earth, Our Home. The events need to be centered around that theme. The students will be meeting before school and on their own time to complete the activities. Out at Bell River, they are very proud of their students for attempting this and giving their all. Linda Rouse, a 3rd grade teacher at Palms Elementary, is beginning their research writing unit. They will be using their Chromebooks to learn how to make slideshows of their reports, and they will present them to their classmates in 3rd grade. 3rd grade students at Pine River Elementary are participating in math mastery hours on Fridays. Under the direction of Petra Koprovica and Paula Peterson, parent volunteers are utilized to assist students in multiple activities, which may include flashcards, math games, research for Genius Hour projects, and they monitor device day activities. This assistance from the volunteers allows the teachers to provide some one-on-one and small group intervention for their math skills. All of the 3rd grade students meet and work with their peers during this time. Collaboration and the building of community is key to this endeavor. And I saved my favorite one for last. It's obviously a math activity, which gets a St. Clair Middle School math teacher a little bit excited. And it's happening at the 2nd grade at Palms. They will be celebrating Halfway Day as they are halfway through the school year. Students in Val Cabanella's and Molly Reed's classes are working with the fraction 1/2, and these are some of the fun things they are doing. The room will be half decorated when students return from lunch. They will celebrate the second half of the day by learning about the fraction 1/2 and sort math manipulatives in half. They will play TOT, half-hour memory. They will divide 2D shapes in half. The students will bring in a picture to show half the age they are now. Students will draw the top or bottom half of an animal and then combine with a partner, and they will write about their animal. They will learn about compound words each student getting half of the compound word they will work together to build. They will decorate half of a chocolate cupcake with vanilla frosting and half a vanilla cupcake with chocolate frosting. So I'm thinking about talking to my principal and seeing if I can go out to Palms on half day. So again, fantastic things happening in the schools in East China School District. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Nancy.
Our next guest speaker is Terry Mullane, School Board Appreciation.
Good evening, President Buer, members of the board. Nancy's a tough act to follow, but on behalf of the ECA, I would like to thank you for School Board Appreciation Month. School board members are just ordinary community members with extraordinary dedication to our community and our children. They provide a vital service in our community. Public education is the backbone of American society, and local school boards play an important role in the success of our schools. The job of a school board member is tough, the hours long, and the thanks few and far between. Too often we forget about the personal sacrifices school board members make. They spend hours in meetings and on committees advocating for our schools. On behalf of the ECAA, we would like to thank you for all the hard work that you do. We have a little gift to thank you for that as well.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'm not sure my wife's going to be okay with me accepting a gift from another woman.
Thank you.
There's always great things going on in our district on a continual basis, and it's because of people like you that they continue to happen. Thank you. Reports, Strategic Planning Committee update. Ms. Dawn?
Good evening, President Buer, Vice President Frank, and members of the board. We just wanted, on behalf of the administration, to give you a short update tonight on the status of our committees that were formed as a result of the Strategic Planning Committee. Out of that committee work, there were 4 committees that were established: Professional Learning Communities, MTSS, or Multi-Tiered Support Systems, Comprehensive Building Plan, and what is my 4th one?
Marketing
and Communications, the one I'm in charge of. Of course I forget that one. Each of the committees met for the first time last week. We set up our goals for the committee and set up future dates. All of those notes and future dates will be posted on our website once those are finished so that the public can see what is going on with each of those committees. We are looking for additional community support, so anyone out there that is interested in joining those committees, please let us know. You can contact the superintendent's office, and we'll give you all the information for that. We have a great deal of staff support on each of the committees, but we really would like some more public input. So anybody that's interested, please let us know. Hopefully, the notes and the meeting agendas will be up within the next couple days from each of those committees we had last week. The future meetings will be held. I think the first one is going to be the communications meeting, which will be held again on January 30th, and the others will start back up first week in February. So any questions on that?
Sounds good. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Dawn.
Information discussion items, Neola Changes.
Good evening again. In your board packet, you received the Neola Changes, which are scheduled for adoption at next month's meeting. Within that, there is a summary sheet of all of the changes. Most of the changes are just cleanup or in compliance with state law, things that we were required to do to be in compliance. But if you have any questions as you review those policies for next meeting, please let us know and we'll get them get the information you need. Okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Next item on our agenda is our action items. We have one action item this evening. Recommended action per administration recommendation, the board adopts the 2017-18 general fund cafeteria latchkey budget at the function level as revised and presented at its December 18th, 2017 meeting. Motion is needed.
So moved.
Moved by Mrs. Bebut.
Support.
Support by Mrs. Murphy. Comments, questions? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. So carried. Item 12 is items for next board meeting, East China Education Foundation grant winners, and approval of our Neola Changes. That will end our board meeting today. We just ask that you be in prayer for Susan Saibula and her family. And keep them always in your thoughts. And with that, we stand adjourned.